1920, and four teams you probably never heard of are about to do probably the most important thing in NFL history. The Canton Bulldogs, Dayton Triangles, Acton Pros, and Cleveland Tigers were going to make history, and not just NFL history. This meeting would put into motion one of the biggest organizations in the United States of America. In Dayton's first season, they played basketball, as they were just a couple of basketball players who graduated from St. Mary's, now University of Dayton, as the Dayton St. Mary Cadets. Their basketball season went well, even beating the Buffalo Germans 45-30 in 1913. Said Germans once won 111 games in a row, and once even had every one of their players go to the Olympics. Quick quiz. What country did the German basketball team represent? That's right, the Stars and Stripes. Red, white, and blue. Russia's flag didn't even look like that in 1908. America? The USA? You know what I'm talking about. But yes, the Germans represented the USA in the 1908 Olympics. In their 1913 season, they went 8-9, including a 74-6 game against the Acton Wilmars. Anyway, later in 1913, they became a football team in the Ohio League, where they went 7-0, including a 66-2 blowout against the Newcastle Maxwell Briscoes. But there were only two teams that managed to score anything on them, the other being the Dayton Oakwoods, who scored on them in 2 games. In 1914, the basketball team seemingly no longer exists, but football's still here, 5-5 this season. Not much to talk about here. In 1915, the Dayton Gym Cadets changed their name. By Lewis Clark, hello Al Martin. They were founded by the Dayton Gymnastics Club. No higher correlated picture exists. This season, it went 7-1-1, including a 0-0 tie against the Cincinnati Colts and a 20-7 win over the Toledo Maroons. Looking through the roster, we see that Carl Stork, a future NFL commissioner, played this season. Their brand new coach was also arguably the best passer in NFL's inaugural season. 1916, the first year they're the Dayton Triangles. To celebrate this, they posted a 72-0 win in their first game. This name change was again due to a sponsorship of 3 triangle factories. They went 9-1 this season. This is the first season they played in Triangle Park instead of Westwood Park. Some might say that the Triangles are named after Triangle Park, not those factories. I say it seems that the park was named after those factories too, although I'm not too sure. In 1917, a new sponsor, the Dayton Wright Airplane Company, named that due to Orville Wright working for that company. One of the founders of the Dayton Wright Company, Charles Flankin Kettering, also founded Delco, now Aptiv. And 2 of the factories funding the Triangles are Delco factories. Also during this time, Delco owned the Dayton Wright Airplane Company. Unfortunately for me to say that the 2 factories worked for the Dayton Wright Airplane Company, we have a list of factories that the Dayton Wright Airplane Company used. One in Moraine, one in Miamisburg, and one in Dayton. Wait, Miamisburg and Moraine are suburbs of Dayton. Anyway, in 1917 they went 5-1-2, both ties coming against the Cincinnati Colts. Their lone loss being against the Toledo Maroons. One of their wins came against the 42nd Aero Squad, where they won 54-6. The 42nd Aero Squad was a military training squadron used in World War I, meaning that this was the Air Force's first football game, not the 1955 game against the Denver Pioneers freshmen. In 1918, they won 8-0. Looking through their roster, we see their head coach is Grassy Neal, the starting right fielder for the World Series winning 1919 Reds, albeit their opponents were the Black Sox. He even coached the Philadelphia Eagles during their 1948 and 1949 NFL championships. In 1919, Dayton won 5-2-1. Their first game was against the Indianapolis Mormon 34s. What's a Mormon 34? A type of car. No, not a car company, a singular type of car. It was made by the same people who made the Marmon Motor Car Company Model 32. It's the car that won the first Indy 500. They later renamed themselves Marmon Harrington, due to Arthur W. Harrington, and are still in business to this day, although they are owned by Berkshire Hathaway. Yes, the same people that own Geico and Duracell. In 1920, the Canton Bulldogs, Dayton Triangles, Acton Pros, and Cleveland Indians got together to start a brand new league. After some discussion on the rules for the league, the American Professional Football Conference was founded. But with only 4 teams, it wouldn't be much of a league. So on September 17th, they got a bunch of other teams. Along with some letters that the Rochester Jeffersons and Buffalo All-Americans could join, the now renamed American Professional Football Association was ready for its first season, where the Dayton Triangles went 5-2-2. Their first game may be the first in NFL history, that or the Rock Island Independence against the Mulesey Flyers. Going into Week 7, they had an undefeated record, but lost twice to the Acton Pros. Anyway, guys, that brings us to the end of another banger of a video. Subscribe so you don't miss part 2, which will hopefully be coming out sometime this decade. Anyway, I promise you we'll eventually get to Baltimore and eventually the Colts, but that won't be for a while. Anyway, guys, see you next time. Bye.